Hi. This is a follow-up video. You see, as of the time of recording this, or at least this clip anyways, today is Thursday, June 5th, 2025. And why is this day a big deal? Well, because the Switch 2 came out today. You see, I recently put up a video talking about the Switch 2. I did have to take it down, which is why it says it was released on June 4th. It actually should have been released June 3rd, but, I had to take it down. Yeah, so let's talk about the Switch 2 again. I actually learned something new at school today that is kind of crazy, honestly. It's kind of crazy thing about the Switch 2, so let's get right into it. Now, as the title mentioned, this is about laws, Switch bricking, and Nintendo McDuck. If you don't know what Nintendo McDuck is, it's a photo I made for the last video that is Scrooge McDuck with Nintendo slapped over his face, used to imply that Nintendo is greedy but that's not the point here. Anyways, so, Nintendo just released the Switch 2, as you probably know. But they're not actually selling you a Switch 2 console when you buy a Switch 2 console. You're buying the licensing to use a Switch 2 and its games. Let me explain. So, pretty much, yeah, they sell you the licensing to use it. That means that if you homebrew, jailbreak, or do any sort of at-home fixing or modification to your Switch, they'll know and have the complete extent to brick it. If you touch your Switch at all, they can brick it. Now, I don't know if this was the same on the Switch or not. They're not as serious about bricking on the Switch as I expect them to be on the Switch too. But this is madness. Oh, and in case you don't know what bricking is pretty much where Nintendo takes your Switch and they turn it into a useless brick. They instantly disable all of its software and hardware, rendering it unusable. So what should you walk away from this video knowing? Probably pretty much don't hack your Switch. Nintendo's being a little bit extreme here. I mean, you should be allowed to fix your Switch at home, without a doubt. That's kind of obvious. You should be allowed to do anything with your consoles. You're buying it. It's yours. But nope, Nintendo reserves the right to brick your Switch if you do literally anything to your Switch or your game. Nintendo's pretty much saying that they own your console, and you're buying the right to use your console. Like, come on, Nintendo, seriously? Oh, jeez. So, laws. You may be thinking, how is any of this legal? And I'll tell you right now, it is. Nintendo loves to play by the rules, but barely. They like to hang on the edge of what's legal and what's not, so that they can go after anybody that they don't like. Short and sweet. I'll link a video talking about the PalWorld lawsuit down in the description. The PalWorld lawsuit is an incredible statement about what Nintendo's truly capable of. Like, these guys are crazy. I haven't quite looked into exactly what lets them do this, but I read or at least part of their legal disclaimers, and it says it there in words. We are selling you the legal right to use your device and reserve the right to render it useless. Oh, and back to how it's legal, Nintendo has a massive team of lawyers and legal people that spend hours upon hours reviewing their documents and making legal statements to protect Nintendo from, anything you can possibly imagine. And I say anything. If Anonymous tried to go after them for something like they did with Sony, I'm willing to bet Nintendo would lawsuit them to the ground. So what's the takeaway here? Well, the takeaway is most definitely that Nintendo is greedy and likes to make sure that you don't hack their stuff. One important thing to remember about this is, unlike Microsoft or Sony that have multiple streams of income, Nintendo has one or two. I think, and a lot of other people think, the reason they protect their intellectual property and their intellectual property law so much, speaking of which, I'll link a dumbed down video about intellectual property law in the description, but the reason they like to protect it so much is because if they don't, their few forms of income will get overrun and they'll die. And Nintendo doesn't want to die. They're a company. Nobody wants to die. Like, really. Well, that's gonna be all for this video, guys. I really hope you enjoyed. If you really enjoyed, you could hit like, and if you really, really enjoyed and you wanna come back and watch more of my videos, you could always hit subscribe. It helps out a lot. I'm new here and haven't really done much yet. I look forward to the future, and I hope that you enjoyed this. Go watch my other stuff, enjoy that, and watch and enjoy any of my other videos that I have made or that I make in the future. See ya!